What's up guys, Cornered here. Today we're going to be talking about why software matters when it comes to hardware. So to do this I'm going to be using mobile devices. So we've got a Note 4 here that's running by Samsung, running TouchWiz on top of Android 4.4. It has 3 gigs of RAM, a 2.7 gigahertz quad-core processor, and a Quad HD display. Right here we have an iPhone 6 Plus, which is a 1920 by 1080 display, obviously by Apple, and it is running iOS 8 with a gig of RAM and a dual-core A8 processor. So, from a hardware standpoint, which device is faster? If you said the Note 4, you are right. How about usability? If you said the iPhone, you're right. So why is it that the iPhone 6 Plus is faster than the Note 4 as far as running apps, when it only has not even half of its specs except for the processor? The reason being is a lot to do with software. In fact, all to do with software. So, the Apple is running iOS 8, the 6 Plus, and it's completely optimized for its hardware. Apple designed this for its devices. If you take something like the Samsung, it's running stock Android, but it has an overlay on top of it called TouchWiz. It's just kind of the same way of saying, well, if I have a Windows XP machine that doesn't have any bloatware or adware with 1 gig of RAM, and I have a machine that's running Windows 7 or Windows 8 that has 4 gigs of RAM, and it has a bunch of bloatware, well, why is my old XP machine faster? The reason why is because of the way the software was written and what you have on top of it. Apple made this optimized for the devices, including all of its devices from the original iPhone up to the 6 Plus. So they've always made the software for their devices. That's kind of one thing that they have working for them. Now, Android, on the other hand, has been more like a Microsoft in the world of mobile phones, where it's saying, okay, we're going to just make the software, not the devices. Have fun, developers. And unfortunately what happened was the developers had too much fun and spiked up TouchWiz. But TouchWiz has made this device, unfortunately, very, very slow compared to this. And the reason why is because they did not utilize the hardware. They utilized software from Google that doesn't utilize the hardware, and then on top of that, they put on their own stuff. It didn't really work out for them. So initially, this device should be smoking this, but it's not. That's because of software optimization, and that works the same way for PCs and Macs, and the same way with that. So if you take a Windows PC, and I do use Windows as my primary operating system, so understand that this is a real truth. If you take a Windows PC versus an Apple PC, if you don't make it yourself or if you buy it in a store, an Apple computer is going to run faster at first because of the fact that they've written the software for their devices. And also mainly due to the fact that Windows PCs, when you buy them from stores, they come with what is called bloatware. You have to remove all of that stuff and fix up the computer before it's really just as fast, unfortunately, as an Apple device. So, I mean, you could also say if you have really high-end hardware, it's going to make up for that. But I personally believe that if you have a device that is more optimized, if you have an operating system that's more optimized for the device and well written, specs are important, but they're not as relevant as they used to be. So if you can write the right amount of code to utilize your devices, it doesn't matter. I understand that hardware is important, but if you really were to code it correctly, and I know it's important and I know it counts, but I think at this point, software is really what should be the focus on a lot of these devices, and that's why the iPhone at this point runs faster than the Note 4 is, because they really did not optimize their device for the hardware. Now they're going to be working on TouchWiz on its own without Android, so that'll be interesting to see how that is. But I might add now, this device actually does smoke this device because I put stock Android on it, basically as stock as you can get it with CyanogenMod. So hardware does matter, but if you have the right software that utilizes it, it's almost irrelevant. That's my take on it. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I am just trying to do different types of videos, but I do think that software matters in this terms of hardware, because at this point, we're getting to a point where specs are coming irrelevant because a lot of things are coming with similar specs. So how do you design software that will work properly on these devices, I think, is what our focus will start becoming. Don't get me wrong, I like specs, but I do think that hardware is more relevant to what we're doing today. But obviously, there are counter arguments for this, and I can understand why hardware is really important as well. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video, and definitely comment, rate, and stay tuned for more.